Hello guys, welcome back to Cassette Confessions. This is the last Cassette Confessions video I'm going to do for the channel, for the series itself, the end of this series. It's come a long way since the late January actually, well, 31st of January it's started, strangely, and we end up in late May, towards the end of May we do. So it's been a very quick turnaround it has. So yes, we're talking about Toddlers 2. So this is the finale, this is another compilation. This is the sequel to Toddlers, which I discussed a few videos ago. And yeah, it's a very odd mixture, this one. I was, out of the two, Toddlers 1 is my absolute favourite. Out of the two, Toddlers wins hands down. Brilliant compilation. This one has some good stuff on it, but even though some stuff's not very good, I'll get into it at the point we'll match it now actually. So in this case we've got 12 shows going through. This is released in 2002, so it's taken another few years, maybe like 3 or 4 years from the last one, Toddlers, which was released in 1999. Let's get into this. So first thing we've got is Tweenies vs Scrapbook. Tweenies, I talked about the Tweenies. I think I talked about the Tweenies beforehand on BBC Children's Favourites, Children's Favourites with Toddlers magazine. Bits and pieces. This is the only full episode that's on it really, and it just focuses. It's just Fizz's scrapbook. It's about Fizz going through a scrapbook and everything else. The only sort of end bit I can remember because the only thing I remember is by the ending when Jake says that can you put food in a scrapbook or something like that? Because he's a bit of an idiot sometimes, good old Jake. Yeah, but it's a bit forgettable really because I can't remember much about it. It's just there at the beginning. It's all flies by, it does really. So you're more interested in the other stuff that's coming along. Indeed, that's all right, really. To be honest, I mean, Tweenies are a decent show. It's a decent show. It is. They're quite famous at the time, really, at their prime. They seem to be very long forgone now. So yeah, last time we got to talk about Tweenies actually on this one. Next we've got is Spot. It's a different type of show. This is actually Spot's musical adventures and Spotty's band. So this is basically an American version of it's an Americanized version of Spot's TV show or something like that, like Series 3 or something. It's strange, really. It's all right, actually. I mean, the theme song is quite catchy in a way. It's very light-hearted and everything else, if you remember it. I think it was included on a CD compilation, actually, if I can remember correctly, back in the day, if you ever bought one of those, or maybe a few in the 2000s. But it's decent, just Spotty's friends just doing a band, really. But it's quite weirdly, because it's got American voice actors in it. I do think maybe they probably included some people like Jane Horrocks in this as well, I think, if what I recall. But it's just there, really. It's Spot. It's nice, if you read the books, and you've watched the original stuff from the adventures of Spot back in the 80s and early 90s. So, bit of an interesting take, but it's the only sort of one that is a minority itself, really. It's a decent thing, really. Next up we've got is Postman Pat. Last time we were talking about Postman Pat on this series, of course, with Cassette Confessions. This is Pat Has the Best Village, which came from Too Many Parcels, or is it Hole in the Road? It's one of them two. I think it's what was it? I think it's Hole in the Road, actually. I think maybe. But overall, it's a good story, actually. It's another good one I remember enjoying. So it's one of my favourites in Series 2. Just celebrating the village, getting ready for for it's like a parade or something, like a competition to be the best village, of course. And that's why it's meant to be. I always love the scene when Ted's painting the buildings, of course, when Pat's going outside Mr. Kong's post office, and he covers his van in white paint and black spots because he keeps waving around like that. It's pretty funny. Of course, it's pretty funny actually when you realise, I thought you meant to paint the town red, not my van or something like that. But it's a good one. It is. It's nicely done. It's a light-hearted one, like more simply one than some of the other ones you can probably get. Hole in the Road, for example, is quite that's like that's more of a circumstance and a bit of more of a circumstance or event going on in the episode. I mean, there's many few of them actually, of course, if you look at Series 2 really. But it's a nice one. It did actually appeared on a new toy box as well, strangely. So yeah, all right. Then we got Rolie Polie Olie. This is an American TV show, so we've got quite a few bit of American stuff on here as well, actually. It's forgettable in places. It's not one I tend. This is the only episode of this show I've ever watched. I've never seen any others. So, because I'm British and it's American production, really, this is Canadian, I think. Weird designs as well. They're basically meant to be what do you call it? Like they made like springs and stuff in yellow balls and stuff. Really, a bit weird actually. And the story's called Pappy's Boat. Focus on that kooky grandpa. Jeez, oof. You know, animation wise, it's CGI animation. It's very off-putting actually. If you look at it, yeah, indeed. Next up, we've got is Brum. Last time we talked about Brum, of course, as with many of the TV shows. Of course, this is the last time I've talked about any of these shows on this series. This is actually from the series 3. So this is the very first episode of the third series, which if you look back on it, it's not the best in terms. They still use their own control. It's very practical because they still use their own control Brum, of course. So they keep that practical element, of course, but everything else is quite wrong. I've never really delve into the 2000s stuff really. For series 1 and 2 are fabulous, they're amazing. Series 2 is probably the highlight for me because I remember watching the most. I own Biggest Pie Video, of course, but having this in here on this series, as a kid, you probably think it's enjoyable because it's Brum and everything else. When you look back at it as an adult, it's not really the best because you have, there's no Toy Wilcox in this, it's a child narrating. It's very Benny Hill-like, and the music's just not the best. It's very jazzy and orientated, which is a bit of an interesting idea, but I do miss the music that it does follow, actually, like in Series 1 and 2. You sort of miss that. I can understand what they're doing, trying to do, trying in terms of tone-wise to make it a bit more action-packed, because he's more stories in this one. He's chasing robbers and criminals around different parts of the place. For example, this one in an airport in Birmingham, of course, involving a celebrity's jewellery just getting stolen. The jewellery is just like fake plastic stuff. If you look, it's god awful. If you look, it's just very it's not like replicas or anything like that. It's fake plastic jewellery that is decided to just lob in a suitcase. It's very it's just yeah. Also, to be honest, the only sort of interesting good thing that came out of it is that song at the end credits. That is quite enjoyable. A bit, it's of its time, really. Very popish, mainstream, light-hearted pop, plastic pop, I call it. Sort of that time, with the likes of like Atomic Kitten, Spice Girls and stuff. It's very that sort of semi-vain type style, really. But it's decent. It's enjoyable. That's one good thing about it. There is some weird. There's also those weird inconsistencies. Some continuity type stuff, like Brum has the power of speed, and this Adam Martin, who I used to subscribe to, actually, who does all these BBC stuff, is a Brum fan. He actually does talk about he did a brief history of Brum, he did, and he mentioned all the other weird stuff that Brum ever did, like telekinesis and going underwater and stuff like that, flying, which actually is included on this episode itself, and it doesn't suit the character. That character needs to be grounded, it really needs to be. But I don't know, it's just not good. But the episode itself, I always remember, like in the scene when he decides to face the play itself. It's all, it's nicely filmed because they filmed in an actual airport. Kudos to them. Kudos to Ragdoll Archie just doing what they like, very much. Even though some stuff hasn't been, all right. Well, down to this time. Well, okay. Enough said about Series 3. Enough said about Brum and Airport Adventure. It's all right, really, to be honest. There's some bits and pieces that are good. Practical stuff with the Brum, except the superpowers type stuff. Ugh. And the ending theme, of course. It all brings you back a little bit. Next we go is MacDonald's Farm. This is one I never ever even know about. Of course, it includes the same with Rolie Polie Olie. I don't know. It's puppetry. It is stop motion puppetry. Yes, well, puppets really. So it's a decent little idea, really. Just to break away from that. From the 2D stop motion type stuff, really. So it's interesting to get a puppet show on. But it's forgettable, really. Springtime on the Farm, it's called, and it's quite. I don't know. Some of this stuff doesn't really give me interest. Some stuff does. Stuff like Tweenies, Spot, Postman Pat and Brum, especially. They sort of give me interest because they're familiar characters they are. In a way, like you've seen these beforehand, and you think like, great, I could watch these. When you get stuff like Rolie Polie Olie and MacDonald's Farm, it's quite, it doesn't hold my attention. It's not very interesting either, unfortunately. So I can't really say on that one, unfortunately. If you like that show, good for you. Good for me and stuff, because I've only seen the one episode. Never bought anything else. I've never been really interested in that show, really. Yeah. Next up goes Thomas Tancher and Friends, appearing once again. This is Thomas's Train. Strangely enough, they didn't include a different episode on this one. People have always say it appeared on Toddlers, which is absolutely fine. But they really need to change. I don't know, because it might be a licensing thing with Video Collection International, or I think they all said you could only license this story or something like that. They couldn't pick another story. Strangely, even though Thomas's Train is an all-time favourite of mine, it seems to it comes to this point as like you've seen it many times. It's like it gets a bit dull afterwards. If they did 2 more of them, they'll probably include it on there. It's like waste of freaking time. Could they choose a different one, like maybe from series 2 or something, or different series? There are plenty of compilations, especially from Australia as well. They actually do something completely different with that sort of episode thing. They don't no gimmicks or anything, no repeats or anything. They do something totally different, of course. They do, even though they contain the same shows as usual, really. But it's just there. It must be a licensing thing, really, to be honest. So Thomas's Train is there. Next we go is Maisie. Maisie's Train, or just Train really, or just the Adventures of Maisie the Mouse. Don't know much about it. It's just a 2D animated show narrated by Neil Morrissey. So it's another one that came out during the time when Bob the Builder was all the rage as well. Nice theme as well, because it's a reggae theme as well, so it's pretty good. But anything else, I blank out really of this one. It's again, same with MacDonald's Farm and Rolie Polie Olie. It's quite forgettable in places. It's just like I don't really understand. I can understand like the books and stuff. Like I think it came from books first, and obviously this show came next. But it's just forgettable really in places, unfortunately. Next I've got is Bill and Ben, Flower Pot Men. This is the Cosgrove Hall TV series. A lot of people are big fans of these. Someone I know. The YouTuber who subscribes to me, I actually did some collaboration work with as well. Big fan of Bill and Ben, of course. He did his own compilation just recently, like he's a version of a favourite story collection, fair enough. But it's a good one. It's a big sleep. It's the only episode I've ever seen of Bill and Ben, unfortunately. But it's great. Good animation. John Thompson and Jimmy Hibbert do a fantastic job with the voice work and narration as well. Same with I forgot the person who does I forgot that. Again, I'm not an expert on Bill and Ben, so the female voice actor who does some of this stuff as well, including the flower between the 2 pots. But it's a good one. It's to do with hibernation, really. Like animals are prepping up for hibernation and stuff like that. Good story. I do think it's alright. That's quite decent, that is, better than, I don't think it's bland or anything, so, yeah. Where do we go from here? Angel Mouse is next. Copycat Chick. Again, another good one, actually, because Angel Mouse, I've only ever seen the 2 one. The first one, My Friend is Angel Mouse. And this one, Copycat Chick. And that's really about it, really. It's a good one, because Angel Mouse tries to look after a chick that's fallen out from the sky or just lost its mum or something like that. And just follows him around and just copies him, like tries to learn from him. But he finds it very annoying, he does, so anyhow. But it's a decent one, great. I have to recount again, of course. So we've got Tweenies, Spot, Postman Pat, Rolie Polie Olie, Brum, MacDonald's Farm, Thomas Tancher and Friends, Maisie, Bill and Ben, Angel Mouse. Then we've got Kipper with the key. Another good one, actually. It's like Kipper befriends a mouse and all stuff happens, really. Like, it's called the key, but it's almost like a mouse. It's strangely, it's like, I think maybe the mouse is trying to find a key or something. I can't remember, actually. But it's a good one. Again, Martin Glinzer does a fantastic job as Kipper as well. Fantastic. Panley Pool's better, though, I would say. This is probably like a bit of a least favourite for me, really, in terms of Kipper stories, really. But considering it's unclear on this, that's pretty good. It's interesting because, with Toddlers, of course, you have the main characters you have Thomas Tancher and Friends, Postman Pat and Kipper on mainly the prominent ones on here, on this 2 sets of videos. So if they do a 3rd one, they'll probably include them again, but include a multitude of other stuff, really. Somebody would probably make that, actually. Just the basic ingredients. All you need is a Thomas Tancher and Friends episode, a Postman Pat episode, and a Kipper episode. And you just plonk it, and you just put all sorts on it. As well, it depends how many you have to put on. Maybe in total, maybe 11 or 12, really. Maybe 11, actually, in total. So, I'll probably give someone a good idea then, actually. But it's decent, it is. Kipper's just getting close to the end, of course. And to finish off, we have Rupert there. Not the Nirvana TV series or anything like that. It's actually the music video done by Paul McCartney, so it's We All Stand Together from 1984. Really good this is. I always remember this actually because I didn't actually... Well, I remember watching, I love it as a child. It's fantastic. It's a nice little end for the VHS, you know, you end on like a musical number. That's very wonderful, very glorious. Sound-wise, it's fantastic. You know, it's a bit cheesy. It's a novelty type song, really done by McCartney. But it is great, fantastic. I didn't actually knew about this later when I listened to the song on the soundtrack to Grange Hill. It was included on there. And I was listening to it, like it was the last track on the third disc. And it sounded familiar, like, I do remember this. And then I realised, oh yes, it came with, it was that video with the frogs and stuff, of course, and Rupert just looking bemused and just like, they do use a lot of animation footage, like in terms of the end as well, it's the same footage they used beforehand, so it's a bit of cheating there. It seems weird that you intercut with Paul McCartney as well, like singing and reading a book, like he's a fan of Rupert Bear or something like that. Even the vinyl sleeve indicates that as well, like a bit of a weird photo with Rupert Bear pointing his arm around Paul McCartney on the cover. It's a bit, if you ever understand vinyl or something like that, if you know Paul McCartney's solo work, then yes. But it's lovely. It's a fantastic, it's like a coda it is, to end off, you know, this this compilation. And actually it just ends off entirely, really. You know, it's a really good one. And they do, also, as a nice little compliment, and for the title one, they do use the same music as for Sully's Amazing Adventures at the beginning, of course, as the introduction, like the title card for this video. So it's really nice. You know, it sort of links into the first one nicely. So, but overall, I would say this is like, it's a decent compilation in places, but it doesn't, you know, for the first one, stellar. That is absolute stellar, that is. This one, it has some filler moments in it, really, to be honest. You know, it doesn't, some stuff doesn't really hold my attention. Bits do, of course. You know, like Rupert, Kipper, Postman Pat, you know, all the instant classics. But you have those other stuff as well, that's sort of really in between stuff. There's only like 3 or 4 that really are quite filler, really, in this one. Well, maybe 3 actually, you know, but yeah, it's a good one. I do like the artwork as well. It's all slapdash and everything else, like with random. It's like a collage. It is. I like that actually. Same with the first one. I think the first one's a bit more honest. You know, like picture here and there. Whereas this is sporadic and stuff. It's really good, and it does. And they do the honorable mentions as well in the they credit the companies as well inside the videos, which is very nice. And that's it, guys. That is it. Cassette Confessions is finished. I've put something together that I should have done a while ago when I did Path of Nostalgia, but I never got around to it. I'll put it on here actually, so it'd be pretty interesting. And you might be shocked what it is. I've done my bit about doing children's stuff really, so I need to get back in the swing of things and do movies and music as well. So, as an ending piece, I'll give you this. Anyway guys, as always, see you for the next video, and best of luck. Hope you enjoyed the series. Thank you. See ya.